Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight, we have a good one here. It's going to be an action-packed race here at the World Center of Racing. That's right, we are taking on the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. Here tonight, we're going to see action-packed, three-wide racing, close calls, and maybe the big one. We'll have to wait to find out about that, but first, here tonight, I believe we have right around the 40-car limit, so I don't think at the moment we're going to send anyone home, but it is going to be very close. Every driver is going to have to take a qualifying lap time to make sure that they are guaranteed to start tonight's race. Of course, here tonight, kicking things off here during qualifying, so we'll go to some drivers here and see where maybe a driver can kind of cycle on out. First driver we'll be taking a look at here is the driver of the 26 machine. It was last week's winner, of course, happening on last Sunday night. Replay of the broadcast happening Wednesday night. The 26 machine of Josh Parker takes back over the points lead with winning 4 out of the first 5 races. But with here tonight, this race being such an X factor with the draft, with the pack racing, can Parker come out on top? We'll find out here tonight as Josh Parker here off of turn number 4 gets ready to take his first time lap here tonight. Of course, here at Daytona, very long lap times, 2-mile racetrack, 2.5-mile racetrack. Let's get the distances right here tonight. And of course, with this about over a 50-second lap time, when you are by yourself, we see speeds upwards of 175, almost 180 miles an hour. But once we get the pack of 40 cars out here all together, we'll see speed exceeding 200 miles per hour. And especially the big X factor here tonight, race distance 80 laps, fuel window can stretch to 40. Should make it very, very interesting to see who decides to come down when, or will that all get foiled? As here we go, Josh Parker, lap number 1 here in the books. Parker will throw down a 50.45. That'll put him P number 7 here currently, so we'll see if he can get some more time here on lap number 2. Right now, though, it is Dan Holcroft with the quick time, sitting atop the charts with a 50.39. As we can see here, especially super speedway qualifying times, very, very close. I mean, less than 0.2 of a second, all the way from first to now 18th and expanding as more and more drivers here. It is very, very tight in the standings. I mean, we now see first through 20th, less than a 1/10 and a half. As Josh Parker here heading to pit road, so we'll take that one lap time. We'll now take a look here at the 77 machine. This is Casey Gross. Gross, I think, out early at Charlotte. I think it was Charlotte last week. Let me double check, make sure I have what tracks are going on right, because with a little bit extra, it was Charlotte, so gut was telling me right. But yeah, with running some double duties with this league, always kind of interesting, see where we're going with the schedule from the Thursday night to the Sunday night. But yep, last week at Charlotte, Gross probably didn't have the exact run that he wanted, hoping for a little bit better here tonight as we take a look at the 77 machine. Right now, currently 36 drivers have taken a lap time, and I think 4 cars yet to take a time, so that means we have 40 cars here tonight. 40 cars is the limit, so everyone that can put down a qualifying lap will make the show when it's all said and done here. So here we go. We're taking a look here at, once again, Casey Gross here through 3 and 4 for the final time. Brandon Guerin, it looks like, slots into about P28. Michael Wolf up to P20. Grant Humphrey, P18. As Casey Gross, great lap number 2. He'll put himself inside the top 15. He'll slot into 13th for that 77 machine. So a great lap there, as qualifying here will come to an end. And it looks like, I believe for the first time in his career, Dan Holcroft here tonight in the 31 machine will lead the field to the green flag and pick up his first career Rock Pirates RC Pole Award. So congrats to Dan here as we get ready to now head down trackside and go through tonight's starting lineup here for this 80 lap race here at Daytona. So here we go, folks. Tonight's starting lineup here for the Battle at the Beach 200. As looks like we get the wrong overlay going. Hold on, folks. Here we go. Now we're looking a little bit better. Tonight's starting lineup will look like the following. Like we said before, Dan Holcroft walking away with, I believe, his first Pirates RC Pole Award. To his outside, our defending champion, the 84 of Anthony Calatoni. Row number 2 is Scott Simley in the 33 machine. In the Todd ride returns, Todd Perro in the 69 will roll off in 4th. Rounding out the top 5, always love to see this guy out here. It is the 98 of Eric Holly in 5th, and to his outside, his teammate of Jeff Pogo, another champion of the series here, rolling off in 6th. Steve Ritter in that 61 machine will start 7th, and another teammate row here, Johnny Barker in the 6th car, will start in 8th. Alan Harris in the 99 machine will roll off 9th, and Jim Ott in the 4 machine will round out the top 10. Scott Drost in the number 10 machine, he will start in 11th. 12th going to the 3 of Chris Muse. Casey Gross in the 77 machine will start 13th. 14th going to Nick Sasaka? Sorry if I pronounced the last name wrong there, Nick. But he will start in 14th in the 12 machine. Chris Progar in the 11 will start in 15th. Dylan Hinton in the 82 machine will start in 16th. 17th will be Man, we are struggling in the names department today, folks. It's going to be a long day. I'm glad hopefully you guys are buckled on in, because I guess I need to for here tonight. Arabia Caton in the 30 machine will start 17th. 18th is the 27 of Kip Easley. Grant Humphrey in the 48 will start 19th. And Nate Brooker in the 00 will round out the top 20. 21st is Michael Wolf. 22nd, Anthony Garland. 23rd, Nick Barton. And 24th, our points leader, Josh Parker. Rolling off 25th is Evan Fuquay. Kevin Roy in 26th. Tyler Humphrey will start 27th. 28th is Brandon Hinton. Joe Hudson in 29th. And Brandon Guerin in P30. P31 is Tristan Penna. 32nd, Gary Wright. Jason Arison in 33rd. 34th is Frank Zingen. John Crosby in 35th. Devin McCaffrey, 36th. And then the final few starters, Mason Hall in 37th, Connor Patton 38th, Noah Loveridge 39th, and Rob Lowell in 40th. Rob, though, not taking the green flag, having some issues here, so we'll keep an eye on that storyline. But here we go. We get ready to go green flag racing here at Daytona as Anthony Calatoni better start in the top lane. Let's see if that is a penalty, because we've seen that many of times here that that outside car gets a better start, can get a penalty, but we'll keep an eye on this as the field roars through turns 1 and 2. So Calatoni able to get clear, same with Todd Perot. So those two will be first, second in the bottom lane. Now it's Jeff Pogo being pushed by Johnny Barker to lead row number 2. So everyone's trying to slice and dice, see where they want to run. Whether, hey, you know what, we want to try and be in front of the big one. Let's get to the front. Or, hey, maybe I want to save some fuel. Maybe I want to stay out of the big one. Let's drop on back. So a lot of different strategies that could be happening. But right now the strategy definitely to be on this bottom lane as they have momentum. They have the car count. And you can see this top lane already continuing to fall back further and further. They have now fallen back behind 6th place Steve Ritter. So top 6 cars all on the bottom side. And I tell you what, that's probably going to be what we see to at least kick off things, let's say, is that bottom side being dominant, or let's at least say one lane being dominant. A lot of cars trying to just click off the laps, be here at the end, because everyone knows if you have a car here that can keep up with speed, be pushed, or push someone, hey, you get a chance at a checkered flag here with the 802 iRacing League, and that means a lot here as we see a car, though, from the inside duck up top. That is a 33 machine of Scott Simley. So Simley, one of those drivers, visited victory lane last season, has yet to come back to victory lane this season. Will love to do it here and kick things on off in style, and right now going to try and do just that, get to this race lead from this second lane here. Rob Lowell has not been back out on track, so he at least now goes 3 laps down, as lane number 2 definitely a lot more formed on up. We saw kind of a gaggle of cars further on back. They have kind of caught the main pack in row number 2, and with that, pack number 2, lane number 2, let's say, has a little bit more energy, starting to move forwards just a little bit to that inside lane, though. I think it's going to maybe need to be a little bit more of a checkup on the inside lane to really kind of march up towards the front of Calatoni or Perot. But right now, everyone just probably just trying to click off laps here at the moment. Further on back here, we see some more cars trying some first to second lane. That was Joe Hudson from lane number 2. Now back to lane number 1, the bottom side here at Daytona, as well, one car way up the racetrack. I think that was a 75 machine of John Crosby. Yes, it is. Crosby slowed up a ton there. Not sure if Crosby's saying, hey, I don't like what I'm seeing, I'm going to back way out. And it looks like he's going to join Brandon Guerin, Frank Zingen towards the back here, saying, you know what? I don't want to be a part of the mess here this early in this one. I want to go to the back, and that's exactly what they're doing. Up towards the front, though, how about this? Lane number 2 had some momentum. Lane number 2 now leading the way on the bottom side, as both Simley and Pogo were able to clear Calatoni. So now that moves Calatoni to 3rd on the inside row, and that inside row then moves 2 cars further on back. So let's say you were 10th on the inside lane. Now you're at least 12th, if not worse. So that's kind of the X factor. And not sure what happened here, but behind the 81 machine, I believe, of Anthony Garland in P number 20, there is a huge gap now to Chris Proger. And look at this, Ariva Caton having a lot of front end damage on that 30 machine. So maybe that's where this kind of group got slowed on up. But now 2 very distinct packs out here on the speedway here at the moment. So if you're in pack number 1, you're hoping that this goes green for quite a while. If you're in pack number 2, you're hoping, hey, everyone work together. We got to catch this other pack here to make sure we can get a shot before, if we get to green flag pit stops. So we're going to try and take a look here, see if we can maybe see what happened to the 30 machine in all the passing and overtaking going on. But right now, not really seeing anything that stands on out, at least with these cars. So Up towards the front, it's still Simley and Pogo here leading the way. Johnny Barker in lane number 2 has kind of drifted on back. Same with Jim Ott, as well as Kip Easley there in that 27 machine. Easley, I don't know if you guys remember, we got to think to a long time ago, back to Daytona, where the last time these guys raced, season opener of season number 6, Kip Easley in the mix there at the end of that one. So he's hoping for another one here in this one to be in contention and a shot at a win. Right now, the third car in that second lane here currently. I like the looks of that, and don't look now. The driver behind him, our current points leader, Josh Parker, he's now car number 4 in that second lane. A few cars out here that have lost the draft so far early on in this one. One of them being Jason Harrison here in the, looks like Busch Lime number 64 machine. No leverage in the pack. So 38 cars pretty much in some sort of draft, in some sort of pack for the time being. So only one car here out of the pack will get lapped at some point here in the kind of near-ish future, because you can see here leaders making their way down the back straightaway, whereas a 64 machine right at the start finish line. So already here in 9 laps, already going half a lap down, and yeah, you can just see the pace difference from being by himself versus being in the pack. You know, last time by his leaders 46 nines, 47 flats, whereas Jason Harrison by himself a 50.6. So things up towards the front here, still kind of holding their own. Simley and Pogo, as well as Anthony Calatoni, you know, holding down this inside lane strong. Then row number 2, Johnny Barker with Jim Ott and Kip Easley. Though the good news with those cars being side by side, this second pack, with them all formed on up on the bottom side, they can make up a little bit of time to the cars in front of them. So if they want to push, they can definitely slowly start to eat away at that gap out in front of them. Right now, currently being led by the 00 machine of Nate Brooker. And like I said, Brooker has about a 3-second gap to Anthony Garland. Garland, of course, the final car in this first pack in this 81 machine. And like I said, about a 3-second gap just down this front straightaway with them working together. Knocked off about a 10th. So that secondary pack, as long as, like I said, they continue to work together and, you know, continue to push one another, they can definitely catch this pack before the green flag pit stops are upon us. Remember, I chatted with a few drivers coming into this one. I heard that the fuel window about 35 to 40 laps, and that makes it really interesting in an 80 lap race, because that 40 laps means, hey, probably gonna have to save a little bit, can't run the outside lane wide open, don't really want to be leading by yourself like we see Simley doing right now. So should be interesting to see if Simley and Pogo maybe swap, or if Simley just says, you know, I have to kind of bail on out. Or do we see someone be aggressive, say, hey, you know what, we're going to push this first stint, pit, and then try and save maybe stint number 2. But that's hard to do. I mean, saving in the final stint of a super speedway race, man, I don't know if I could be trusted to do that behind the wheel. I'll just say that much. So things looking very good here, though, to start Daytona. 13 laps already have been started, 12 laps complete, and so far every single lap has been clean and green, as it looks like everyone doing a great job of taking care of one another, taking care of themselves. As here comes our first X Factor of the night, though. We are going to get a little bit of lap traffic here in the next lap or so. So the 64 looks like going to stay up against the fence. The field gonna come screaming on by here in just one moment. Let's ride on board here with the 64 and see this pack start to loom on closer here. Looks like Jim Ott and Johnny Barker are going to trade spots in that secondary lane here, so we'll see how this works, but here's where it gets tight. 3 wide. Pretty doable at Daytona, though. It takes full concentration, and right now, everyone doing a great job at that, and it looks like our first car to go 1 lap down going to be that 64 machine here tonight. But luckily for him, now he can tag onto the back of this first pack, make sure that he can stay in the lucky dog spot. I mean, you can hear maybe behind me yapping, the RPMs just absolutely pick on up here in the 64 in this draft, being, you know, towed on along a little bit better here. Let's ride on board now with Johnny Barker. Let's head up to the pack, see what this outside lane is trying to do here tonight, as here we go. You can see a little bit of movement between the two of them, but so far, no harm, no foul. A little bit of sparks out of the bottom side of these race cars, trying to keep that underside as low as they can to this racetrack. And even with Daytona, you know, they get some weather. This track can get a little bumpy, little worn, and we're seeing that once again as, you know, this track continues to get rougher and rougher, and that can be, of course, only tougher and tougher for these drivers behind the wheel. As you see Jim out here go all the way to the fence, and that could be a little bit of a strategic move to try and get away from the draft, or at least break the side draft from the inside lane, try and rebuild that momentum, because now you see up in lane number 2, only about 5 cars or so. That's probably the minimum you need to really start making moves and at least generate your own energy. But right now, that's at the bare bones minimum, 4 cars in that second lane, as more and more cars continue to try and get down to that bottom inside lane. Oh, that's a bummer to hear, Rob, that the PC crashed for you. Oh, that sucks. That right before the race kicks on off too, man. It's like firing up the old race car on, you know, the grid or whatnot, and it drops a valve right there on you. Oh, that is a tough break there. So yeah, it sounds like the 21 machine of Rob Lowe going to be out for the evening here with that issue, and that's a tough break there, because like I said, with these X Factor races, I mean, that 21 machine in contention, it seems like most weeks, but these super speedways, always an X Factor, always anyone can win, and that's what these drivers go in with this mindset. As here we go, 2 teammates finally found each other in a row, as Eric Holly will jump up in front of Jim Ott, so that'll at least give them another car, as they did lose 1 car down the back, so at least back up to that 5 car minimum. But with that, you can see them trying to rebuild the momentum. They are continuing to lose spots, as now Kip Beasley going to almost draw even with Eric Holly, and you can see that there. I mean, Holly back to about 8th here, leading this second lane. So update on pack number 2 here. Nate Brooker continues to lead the way, being pushed by Michael Wolf, Gary Wright in the 55 machine, then Grant Humphrey and Nick Barton. I believe I haven't seen Barton's name here on the season so far, so good to see Nick Barton out here tonight. Glad to have him. And I tell you what, first start in the top 25, you know, minding his business, doing everything right so far. I like to see it, as we see a few cars here jump up to that second lane here in the second pack. That's Joe Hudson, Brandon Guerin, as well as Frank Zingen. So interesting choice to have those guys kind of jump on up, because like I said, this second pack, pretty much all of them need to work together to catch this first pack, and that gap to that pack actually has kind of still stayed the same, about that 3-second gap. So they actually haven't made any sort of headway, which kind of surprising to see. It tells me that this first pack definitely pushing hard for the time being. So we saw a little bit of damage on the nose machine of Arabia, and yeah, still on there. Luckily for the 30 machine, still inside the draft here tonight, so still able to keep with the pack here. So good news for him, as here we go. We see a car making a big move to that outside lane up towards the front. That was a 26 machine of Josh Parker right in front of the 61 machine of Steve Ritter and Alan Harris. So that will check up the outside lane, but Josh Parker wants to lead lane number 2. And I mean, we saw success earlier in this race in lane number 2 with Simley and Pogo. And with their move, they have continued to lead, I want to say, the past 15 or so laps. So Simley doing a great job picking up a bonus point for a lap led, as well as, you know, in contention now for the most laps led. And of course, Simley coming into tonight tied for 3rd in points with John Crosby. So Simley would like a really, really good points night. And I tell you what, has a very good opportunity to do just that. Coming into tonight, just 3 points back behind Jim Ott, 2nd in points. So we could very much see a big time shakeup here from Daytona with the points. And here we go, a little bit 3 wide action. Alan Harris up to the top side of 3 wide. The 99 says, you know what? This lane doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. We're pulling some chutes. Alan Harris going to back on out of it here. And Harris going to get a little bit piece of the wall there as well through the tri-oval. So luckily for Harris, of course, still in the draft here. So not going to have to be big time sweating anything like that. And I tell you what, folks, already a quarter of the way done through tonight's race. What do we say? We have a little turn 3, turn it up for the first time here tonight. Alrighty, we head back here at Daytona here, and yeah, I tell you what, the second lane has disappeared here in pack number 1. Everyone has gotten back down to this bottom side, and we saw Josh Parker. He pulled out a line right around the 6th, 7th position or so. Parker now finds an opening on the inside lane all the way back in 16th. So that can kind of be the kind of consequences, let's say, if you want to get a little risky with it, if you want to take a chance, because it may not work out for you. And like we see in that move there, going to lose about just under 10 or so spots. But what the second pack doesn't want to see is his first pack single filed while they are 2 by 2 here, as now Brandon Guerin getting close to leading pack number 2 here. Joe Hudson, though, going to get cycled out of lane for the time being in lane number 2. Going to go find an opening, though, get right back into lane. So good move there. I think probably the 23 machine started to get a little bit warm, let's say. Had to kind of back on out. Going to give the push and privileges then to the 62 of Frank Zingen. And I tell you what, let's ride on board here with Frank Zingen, looking at what he is seeing off the dash of that race car, see what he is trying to see, given these pushes to this lane here. As you can see, a few couple bumps there into the tri-oval, disconnect, and then, ooh, gotta be careful with those off-center pushes. You can see Frank, once he gave that push, realized that jumped out of the throttle big time. That gap, then you can see that Ford Racing. That's pretty much the bubble that you don't want to see there, as you can almost get kind of an opening, let's say, and kind of get stuck, let's say, with that. As, whoo, big push there as Brandon Guerin having to kind of break the draft on his own. That car really kind of shot on back. But you can see here, it's not just wide open, especially once you're in the pack, especially with a car right on your nose. You're playing with the throttle, dragging some brake, trying to make sure that you give momentum to the car in front of you, but not too much to make them out of control. It is a dance you got to do each and every lap, almost at 200 miles an hour as well. So with that kind of connection, disconnection, like we're seeing from the 62, you can see they are losing a lot of time now with only 3 cars up top. That energy has been gone, has been dissipated. So these guys will once again probably fall all the way back to the back of pack number 2 and then fall back into line here. So up towards the front, Scott Simley last 20 laps or so out in front, leading the way here tonight. Jeff Pogo, Anthony Calatoti, Todd Perro, and then Dan Holcroft, the top 5 coming into tonight. I should say currently, not coming into tonight. Coming into tonight, though, this 5th place driver, the 31 machine of Dan Holcroft, he walked away with that Riptide Radio pole. Excuse me, that's the old pole award, the Rock Pirates RC pole award. That, of course, to the 31 machine of Dan Holcroft. He has yet to kind of give up some track position, let's say, as he has been in the top 5 all night long here tonight in that AI Chief 31 machine. So an update here on pack number 2. They have made it and have caught up with this lead pack here in this one. The question is, with this momentum, who will go up top to try and continue to work their way towards the front? One car kind of saying, you know what, I'll pull the chutes head on back. That is the 88 machine of Kevin Roy. So Roy will say, you know what, I don't want to be in the chaos. We'll go fall on back, because now the pack is once again one big whole kind of pack, besides this 4-car pack here of Connor Patton, Noah Loveridge, Devin McCaffrey, and Jason Harrison, all kind of in their own gaggle. Everyone else in this one main pack here, as they go 3 wide for a split second, splitting Kevin Roy finally finding an opening, you know, like where he probably wanted to be, all the way back in this pack here. And that strategy is only because, hey, I want to try not be in the big one. If the big one happens, I want to be back behind it, give myself time to react, and also maybe prevent anyone from coming in late, hitting your own race car, and, you know, having a tough night here. So I do like that call, because in theory there should be one big one per super speedway race, but we've seen it, and, you know, especially the way that this race has started, we could see this race go green to checker. These guys up front will behave, saying, hey, you know what, we got the track position. Even if we wreck coming off of 4, you know, probably still gonna hopefully squeak away a top 10 finish. So that is what they're banking on, you know, a nice solid finish at an X Factor super speedway race. But, you know, that could always change in an instance, and that's what this racing is. So about 8 laps or so away from the halfway point, cars deeper in this field, some getting run, some kind of getting past here, as we see the second lane continuing to start to get more and more cars in it. Now the 73 machine of John Crosby going to lead the way, being pushed by that Spirit Airlines 14 of Mason Hall. So Hall, of course, started deep in this one. Right now, where he is running inside the top 25, already up 12 spots here. So The only car that has kind of moved up more than that, our biggest mover so far here tonight, this 5 machine of Brandon Hinton. Hinton started, I want to say, about 28th position or so, and Hinton finds himself inside that top 10 in P number 9, right behind actually another Kyle Busch car of that 82, 81 on the car of Dylan Hinton. So definitely those two trying to work together have found one another, and they are running there as, we get our first caution of the evening. Joe Hudson on around here, and it looks like not the big one here tonight, as only one car coming to a stop. Mason Hall looks like is all right. Just went a little bit off track there for the time being, but yeah, it looks like Joe Hudson gonna be the car with the most amount of damage. So let's take a look here, see what happened to Joe Hudson going into turn number 3. So Hudson, their second car in that second lane, and with that, man, tough one to call from that angle there. I mean, Hudson definitely moving down the racetrack. Not sure if maybe to get some clean air on the nose of the front 23 to cool it on down, but Chris Progar definitely was going to be to the inside of that race car. I mean, yeah, Chris wasn't quite on that double yellow line, but here at this point in the race, definitely don't have to be out. Kevin Roy, I mean, I was just talking about him dropping to the back to make sure he wasn't involved in anything. Almost got a piece of that, but yeah, it looks like really just a one-car incident. That is a rarity here at Daytona, but it's going to be Joe Hudson on the worst end of that one. Let's try and get maybe a different camera angle going into turn number 3 here. See if we can see it just a little bit better, as Hudson definitely going down the hill. And yeah, Chris Progar just right there, not expecting the car to kind of come across his nose into his lap there. And I think maybe a little bit of damage to Tristan Penna. And man, I tell you what, Nick Barton doing a heck of a job saving that race car, keeping it out of the way. He might have some damage. Same with Evan Fuquay, and man, Arriva Caton coming in there, shooting the gap, driving through the smoke there in that one. So a little bit of drama here right before the halfway point. So this is going to make it really interesting, because from here on out, it's a splash and go to the end. But under our first caution, we're going to see everyone come into pit road, going to get their stops done. So going to be a busy pit road, as 38 cars will make their service on pit road here. Luckily not seeing any kind of contact on this pit road, so everyone able to get down and away safely, as it's going to be Scott Sinley winning the race off of pit road. Then after that, it is Steve Ritter, Jeff Pogo, Anthony Calatoni, but John Crosby, it looks like Crosby missed his pit, so we'll have to come back around and try and head into the box, let's say. So under our first caution flag here of the evening, it'll be Scott Simley, the first car off of pit road. Then actually it was Anthony Calatoni able to come off P number 2. Steve Ritter in 3rd, Jeff Pogo in 4th, and Todd Perro rounding out the top 5 here tonight. And I tell you what, Todd always has some great paint schemes out here tonight. Another great paint scheme. I'll let the paint scheme just do the talking on the 69 machine. If you catch a glimpse, I tell you what, it'll give you a good chuckle here. But I tell you what, I can't wait to see more paint schemes out from the 69 camp. As you know, they kind of keep it basic, keep it clean, but man, you look at the details, and there's some great details on these race cars from the 69 camp. As it looks like our tower maybe a little bit broken here tonight from Daytona. Maybe a little bit too much to drink or something, not displaying our caution kind of ticker. As, interesting here. Some takers down on pit road to top on off, saying, hey, we can come down, fill this thing up as much as we can. I think maybe we could stretch it. So interesting call here, as the lights will go on out. And next time by, we will head back to green flag racing here at Daytona. Scott Simley going to choose the inside lane. That'll put Cal Tony outside of the front row. Then it is Todd Perro, Dan Holdcroft, row number 2, then row number 3. How about this? Nick Sosek, as well as Dylan Hinton in this third row. So first time we have seen these guys inside the top 5. So exciting to see what this 12 and 82, 81 on the car can do. As here we go down the back straightaway, and it looks like those cars that came in to kind of top on off of fuel, looks like will be all the way back right around the 30th position when we get back rolling. So interesting call there. Going to give up the track position to have that little bit extra fuel. And we'll see if that could be the X factor, let's say, to see who can walk away with this checkered flag here tonight. Just before the halfway point, we get ready for the first restart of the night. It's going to be Scott Simley in control. Anthony Caltoni, the other car on the front row here. Cars still trying to get themselves sorted just in case, but here we go. Out in front, it's going to be Simley, Caltoni, getting ready to go back green flag racing as the iRacing pace car heads down pit road, and the 33 machine can go anytime once he hits that first white line. Restart zone, of course, very large here. Going to go late in the box as we head back to green flag racing. Caltoni has an opening to get down on the bottom side. He will try, can't quite do it in time. Yes, he can. It looks like Todd maybe going to cut the 84 machine a break here. Going to lift just a little bit at this point. Same with the, it looks like 82 going to get down to the bottom side. So Dan Holcroft kind of getting a little bit in a sucker hole for the time being. He will find an opening on the bottom side. So once again, we see a lot of cars from lane number 2 quickly trying to get down to this inside lane. And I think that is a smart move, because if this race, if you know a driver can stretch it to the end on fuel, you want to make sure that you can do the same also. So we may see the pace even back on down just a little bit as a lot of cars head to the bottom side of this racetrack to try and save some fuel, try and run, you know, even 3/4 throttle around this racetrack could probably save you a lap from 5 laps of racing, let's say. So now, if you're the driver, Scott Simley, how much do you push it? You know, track position is key with these next-gen cars at the super speedway. It is very hard to develop runs, make moves on your own, but wow, how about that? Anthony Caltoni kind of almost got pulled around there by Johnny Barker. Had to save the race car. Barker had to save the race car right there as well off of turn number 4, as easily a big shot in the shorts to the back of the 6. So definitely energy and the racing starting to get a little bit more and more intense here tonight at Daytona. And I tell you what, folks, not even halfway there, but we'll continue to see this kind of exponential curve continue to get higher and higher. Once it's about 10, for sure 5 laps to go, gloves are off, people are making moves to win races at that point. So drivers have pitted to top on off of fuel. Jeff Pogo, Eric Holly, Jim Ott, all right here, kind of deeper in this field, way back here, but really saving a lot of fuel. So these guys trying to get there. As old trouble here, Kip Easley, sounds like motor expired. He will stick it in the middle of 3 wide, and somehow everyone gets on around him. He will stay to the top side, and wow, what kind of driving by Kip Easley as the rest of the field. I mean, when a motor blows, we've seen it many a times from Carson Hocevar on iRacing to anyone else in any sort of racing, that, hey, when a motor expires, that is the big one happening. And here tonight, man, Kip Easley, I tell you what, he won't have the finish that he probably wants, but wow. what a wheelman behind the wheel to keep that car underneath him and out of harm's way. As look at this little 3-wide race in action. Once again, we saw it happen in this first kind of stint of racing. Seeing it again, a distinct 2 different car pack, and that now the second pack currently being led by the 29 machine of Devin McCaffrey. As it looks like Tyler Humphrey really slow off the pace. I think he is really trying to save fuel in that red, white, and blue number 7 machine, as he was leading that pack, has really slowed on down. So that has moved Devin McCaffrey up to the leading this pack, and McCaffrey says, hey, we got some ground to make up, already 2.5 seconds back. So a very similar song and dance from that first kind of run, as that secondary pack gonna have to work together one again to try and recatch this first pack, as we saw it happen in that first run of, let's say, 30 laps. So it definitely can be doable. But once again here, now past the halfway point, Scott Simley getting very close to leading half of the laps run here tonight. So Simley may walk away with the bonus points of the most laps led, and that will definitely help him on his championship hunt here this season in season number 7. Cal Tony continuing to kind of jump out of line there, and you're like, man, why doesn't he just stay packed on up, pushing that race car and Kip Easley? That is the example of what happens when you stay packed on up to the car in front of you. Do not let air in that nose of that race car, because that thing will start to get hot. And once that oil temperature, I want to say in the next gen car, it's right around 283 or so. You get that thing stuck at that temperature, as oil cools down a little bit longer, let's say, than water, and it can get lingering at that temperature. Once it gets there, start to create motor damage, and ultimately the motor let go, like we saw in the 27 machine easily. So that's why you may see a guy like Cal Tony, or maybe even Scott Drost in that 10 machine in lane number 2, jump out of lane, break that draft for a second. That is to get clean air on the nose of the race car. The other way that, if someone's really working well together, you'll see the front car kind of shade up half a car length through the corner, and through the corner, the car number 2 gonna paint that inside yellow lane and get clean air through the corner. That's kind of the ultimate way to get the job done. But here we go, lane number 2 starting to build some momentum. Johnny Barker being pushed by the 10 machine of Scott Drost all the way up to the race lead, and here at the start finish line, Johnny Barker will lead the lap in the 6 machine. Barker going to be very close to getting clear into turn number 1. The question is, does Barker leave Drost? Yes, he does. Barker will slide down to lane number 2. Now that makes Scott Drost leading the outside lane, being pushed by Mason Hall. More frustrations we're hearing in pack number 2. I just heard over the radio someone not happy with how they're racing, continuing to lose time. We heard an update just a few laps ago. Hey, it was 2.5 seconds. They got to work together. They got to catch that pack. Well, guess what? It has doubled now, with them still not sorting themselves out. Looks like finally might be sorted out now, but now they are 5 seconds back. As here we go. Some strategy here in this one. Jeff Pogo and the Hoona Gang team down on pit road here. They are saying, hey, even at this pace, we're not making it. We want to splash and go. We should stay on the lead lap with it, and if they do, they can make it to the end. So here we go. The strategy in wide open here in this one. Outside lane has started to lose some momentum. Now you see the 10 machine of Scott Drost now about the 6th or 7th position. No one better do the motion here, as trouble off of turn number 4. That is the 37 machine of Connor Patton. He will come to a stop, and I tell you what, folks, the big winners from this caution, that group that just rolling off of pit road here of Jeff Pogo Jim Ott, all of those cars going to stay on the lead lap, as well as have enough fuel to make it to the end, as Connor Patton going to be the kind of single car, let's say, with some significant amount of damage here in this one. As we will see what happened to Connor Patton off of turn number 4. As, Patton, maybe a push gone wrong by his teammate, as Devin McCaffrey was pushing that 37 machine, got him out of sorts, and then Connor Patton just trying to hang onto that race car. It looks like that blue car just tagging him just a little bit. That's the 57 machine of Noah Loveridge. But yeah, drama there. Two teammates getting together here at Daytona. Luckily for Connor Patton, just a little bit of damage on that race car, but wow. I mean, I said it was rare before that we had a single car incident, but man, make it 2 in one race? I think these guys better go buy a lottery ticket after this one, because that is unheard of. These guys doing an awesome job here tonight, and here we go. Strategy here on this stop. Wow, I thought it was going to be a no-brainer to come down pit road, pack this thing full of fuel just in case of maybe a green-white checkered or two, but we have some takers to not come down pit road, that being led by the 69 machine of Todd Perot. So Simley going to be the first car off of pit road, then it is Barker, then Nick, and then quite a bit of a bigger gap further on back. I think some drivers electing just to take fuel, others electing to take some tires while they can under caution flag. So yeah, interesting one here after the halfway point. Caution number 2 comes on out once again for a single car spin out here at Daytona. As under the caution flag, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. On the other side, we'll be back for our second restart of the night. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here getting ready for our second restart of the night. On the front row here of this restart, going to be... Oh, let me get back live. Excuse me, folks, I guess. Button on my mouse can pause the race here. As here we go, it's going to be Todd Perro and Dylan Hinton on the front row here for our second restart of the night. The iRacing pace car going to head down pit road, and here we go. Perro will go in the middle of the restart zone, and we head back to Green Flag Racing here at Daytona. Dylan Hinton able to get to the race lead from lane number 2, so now it will be that 3G81 machine on the car leading the way, and here we go. We get some drivers making it top side of 3 wide as Jeff Pogo and company going to go to the top of 3. He will get some help here. Brandon Guerin going to also be up there, and Jim Ott will go around, and the big one will kick on off here tonight. And that will be quite a few cars here in this one, as quite a few other cars gonna get tangled on up. But man, the one that's gonna be losing out the most, the driver second in points coming into tonight, Jim Ott, gonna be at the wrong place at the wrong time, as it looks like Ott gonna be damaged pretty much in all 4 corners. Maybe the right front might actually be good, but I think everything else is going to be pretty damaged here in this one. As let's take a look, see what happened to bring out the first big one of the night, or caution number 3. So here we go, going into turn number 3. Let's see what happened here at top side of 3 wide, and it looks like, man, just 3 wide racing gone wrong. Alan Harris maybe shading a little bit high. Ott starting to shade a little bit low to follow Pogo. And then with that, contact is made. And once contact is made, the pin in the grenade is pulled as Ariba Caton going to come in there. Big time hit there. He will collect our pole sitter, Dan Holcroft, and in that 31 machine. Then everyone else just trying to kind of scatter on through, find an opening. Kevin Roy up top there, Scott Simley as well, gonna look like gonna maybe just squeak their way through that one, as yeah, they will. Whew. So I want to say about 5 to maybe 10 cars with some sort of damage there in that one, but definitely the first big one of the night. And Jim Ott probably going to be done for the evening. We'll take an eye here and see from the 4 machine if he's able to get back out there. Also, update, if you're watching the NASCAR race, Naval Base Coronado, 3 laps left in that one. So we'll be here after the finish of that one if you want to tune into the end of that one, but I'm just telling you, you might want to if you can. But also, we appreciate everyone tuning on in here live. A great viewership here tonight, so once again, we appreciate everyone to tune on in here for an exciting one. Super speedway racing here tonight at Daytona, and so far action-packed. 3 cautions. The first big one has already struck here tonight, and we'll see what more has left in this one, because in the second half, like I said, we start to go up the logarithmic curve, the exponential curve, let's say, of the intensity. We're continuing to climb up the mountain here as the laps continue to click on away. Yeah, sorry for being a little bit quiet here, folks. Under this third caution flag, tuning on into the end of the race. While we get a chance, while we're under caution, so that's what I'm doing myself. Would love to, share the experience with you guys, but don't want to get in trouble with NASCAR or YouTube. I heard, they could be sometimes a little bit sticklers about things, so don't want to take the chance. We got our own racing that we can enjoy here, as we do get the lights to go on out around Daytona. Next time by, we are heading back to green flag racing here, as it looks like Dylan Hinton gonna choose the inside lane and Mason Hall to his outside. Both drivers looking for their first win. I mean, it's the first two rows all looking for their first 802 win. The first repeat winner would be row number 3 of Steve Ritter, Brandon Guerin. We'll head up to the row in front of them. That's Todd Perot, Chris Progar in row number 2. And, of course, the front row is Hinton and Hall. So it looks like Jim Ott, even though involved in that incident, that 4 car will continue to race here tonight. So he is not done. It's not over for him. Looks like a few cars that are done for the night. Nate Brooker, Alan Harrison, of course, Kip Easley, who had his motor expire. Looks like Dan Holcroft gonna also retire the 31 machine as well. So gonna be about 35 or so cars still out here on the racing surface, and a handful of them gonna be a lap down here. And folks, I think I'm going to take a break from talking here. So we're going to do a little turn 3, turn it up right here on the start. Ryan on board here with Chris Progar. Let's see what it's like for a restart here in this one. Man, those offset pushes always get me a little bit nervous, but luckily everyone able to keep their race cars underneath them. And now this outside lane has a ton of momentum. You can see them all pushing hard, kind of bouncing back and forth. And here we go, Steve Ritter looking to get this race lead outside of Dylan Hinton out in front. Oh, as we get a caution out here on the speedway. Whole bunch of cars involved here in this one, as they wrecked many a times. It looks like maybe 2 separate incidents, as Grant Humphrey spun on around further on up, and then further on back, Brandon Guerin, big damage, Chris Muse as well. So we'll now go under our 4th caution of the evening, with maybe our 2nd big one of the evening. So here we go. Let's take a look here. It may have happened once again around the 4 machine of Jim Ott. No smoke already going on, as Brandon Guerin already around in the 1 machine. So let's take a look at the one of Brandon Guerin. See what happened to him, as Brandon Guerin top side of 3 wide. Looks like the 1 car may have gotten a little bit of the piece of the wall. Then Frank Zingen into the left rear quarter panel of the 1 car. Anthony Calatoni gonna get a shot in the door, and somehow Calatoni will save the race car. But man, Kevin Roy gonna get some damage. Same with the 6 car, Johnny Barker. And I think that's where, Grant Humphrey, you can see there on the apron, that car gets upset. And I think that's what ends up spinning this 48 machine. Yes, he does. Gets on the apron once, twice, and then spins it on out. So Grant Humphrey, I don't think, has too much damage. Then further on back, they come piling on in on the bottom side once again. Looks like the 55 and the 30 going to make some pretty heavy contact there. in that one as well. So the second big one of the night going to happen once again with some 3 wide racing gone awry once again. As once again here under this 4th caution, we'll be right back on the other side from a quick commercial break from our partners over at Premier Setup Shops.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Alrighty, folks, so after a string of big ones here, we get ready now for our 4th restart of the night here, as Dylan Hinton are still our race leader, gonna have the choose here at the start finish line. Dylan Hinton here going to choose the inside lane. That will put Steve Ritter outside of the front row. Row number 2 going to be Josh Parker. He has continued to drive on up, put himself in the right spots. He sits in 3rd, Todd Perot in 4th, Mason Hall 5th, and Brandon Hinton rounding out our 3rd row. Chris Brogar will start in 7th. 8th will be Jeff Pogo. 9th, Anthony Calatoni, who just made it through that one. And then I think the 10th place car is going to be John Crosby in the 73 machine. So that one going to take out a few other cars. Looks like Evan Fuquay going to be done for the night. Frank Zingen going to stay on out here. He will have some damage. Grant Humphrey continuing. Same with Jim Ott. Kevin Roy done for the night. Chris Muse also down on pit road still with some extensive repairs going on in the 3 machine camp. So here we go. We get ready for the 4th restart of the night. Once again, it's going to be Hinton and Ritter on the front row, getting ready to go back. And now, folks, we are into the countdown clock, into the later stages of this one. Once you go back green flag racing, it will be 23 laps left in this one here tonight. The iRacing pace car here will head down pit road once again, and it's going to once again be that 81 machine Dylan Hinton. He will go in the middle of the box. Steve Ritter caught sleeping here on this start. Inside lane's going to have a big run, but don't get out too far. They could have a big run starting to charge on their back bumpers here. So outside lane getting bottled on up. We'll see what kind of momentum they can start to rebuild down this back straightaway. The question is, if you're Josh Parker, do you pull out in front of Steve Ritter? The answer is yes. Parker will go up to lead lane number 2. Looks like Jeff Pogo there in the 97 machine going to pull some shoots there. We'll drop outside of the top 10 saying, hey, you know what? At this point in the race, I think more calamity still to come. We're going to go fall on back, but out in front, new race leader Josh Parker, our points leader, will pick up a bonus point for leading a lap here tonight at Daytona. Man, I tell you what, if Josh Parker can go 5-4-6 here in this league, like I said, he's already on a record-breaking start to an 802 Winston Cup Series, and to continue here tonight at the X Factor track a lot of people saw coming in here, man, that would be wild. Looks like down here in the infield care center, the one car of Brandon Guerin, we saw him take a pretty hard hit there a few times. Looks like he is checked out and released here, so we may have a kind of co-commentator here for the rest of this one, maybe, if he's up for it, as Brandon Guerin checked and released. Brandon, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
We got you, Brett.
Alrighty, man. Not the way you wanted to end your night here at a super speedway, but first and foremost, you're all right. That was a pretty good hits you took there in that one.
Yeah, we're doing fine. You know, we got checked from the infield care center, and they said, you're fine, Brandon. Well, I'm the same as I was before the race. Nothing's changed. We don't know about fine, but...
I was going to say, as fine as you could be, right?
yeah, fine as we were before we got in the car.
Yeah, man, but, man, a heartbreak there, because it seems like you were just starting, you know, start to take some runs, start to get aggressive, just getting inside the top 10. What kind of happened from your perspective in 3 and 4 there?
Yeah, it all kind of started on the restart. Just the outside line, the front two in front of me just really didn't get going at all. So I really wanted to try to get in front of them, and I had Frank behind me, so I knew he would be pushing me. And then just when we got to the turn 3 and 4, I kind of just caught the wall a little bit, and it obviously checked me up enough to where Frank got into me, and then just from there it was just an accordion. So totally on me for bumping the wall there and just kind of checking up in front of Frank, but nothing he could do. And yeah, just trying to get to the front there, because we weren't going to race side by side. We weren't going to get nowhere. We're just going to kind of ride there, and especially, like I said, those guys in front of us weren't really moving. We lost at least 3-4 spots almost on that restart, so just kind of wanted to take my run when I had it and see if we could get in front of them.
Yeah, definitely the move from here on out. You know, everyone now good on fuel, and the intensity, of course, starting to ramp on up as we see that out towards the front, though. Everyone's starting to swap the race lead here, and drivers from lane number 2. Lane number 2 is looking a lot more healthy than it was a few laps ago.
Yeah, that's kind of the lane that I preferred to be in. Like, it just seems like most times, especially here compared to like Talladega even, like the bottom line can really check up going through the corner. So usually on the outside you can keep the momentum going a little bit, and I think that's the other thing too, going 3 wide in the corners. I mean, it's still wide enough, but it's not Talladega wide, as you know. So going outside 3 wide, as a few drivers said, it seemed a little early in the race, but at the same time, you got to take every run you can and try to get to the front. And I know one guy that would echo that, and that's Kenny Reel. And I've raced many races with Kenny, and I know being in the front towards the end of the race is where you want to be, at least top 5, and that's not where we were at that time.
We get a caution out here on the speedway. As Brandon, as you were talking, man, I saw probably a handful of saves that were almost cautions, as then it finally unfolded here going into turn number 1.
Yeah, I'm actually watching the replay back right now, Brett, and it just looks like a little 3 wide, a couple guys door bang inside. He goes up into the outside guy, and then they just kind of meet in the middle, and from there it just checks up and starts to collect 2, 3, 4 more, it looks like, after. And you just can't check up sometimes, especially those guys in the back that are coming through.
Yeah, it's definitely the case here with these cars not being able to wall on up, even though they got the good brakes in them. I tell you what, a lot of people, you know, running a lot of front brake to make sure they can safely enter pit road. Well, with that, you know, you lose quite a bit of stopping power, let's say, as well.
Yeah, especially it's no different than the people like on other tracks when we crank it to the rear. You don't have that balance to where it's slowing both ends of the car down at the same time, and you just get the wheel hopping with the front brake, or if you have the rear brake, it just locks them up and you come around. So especially here, like you said, the brakes are mostly for pit stops, so you have them all the way to the front, and it doesn't help sometimes.
Yeah, that it doesn't. And, Brandon, I got to ask you, because I think you're one of the cars that came down with the most of the rest of the field. Did you guys have enough fuel for a couple green-white checkers? Because I'm wondering here, still a little bit of racing left, but how close do you think some of these guys are cutting it if we do get some green-white checkers late in this one?
So at the time, like right before that current or last restart, right before I wrecked, I was 2 laps to the good. So I was thinking, if anything, maybe one green white checker, but if we really needed to, like once I'd cleared up, I wanted to like get back into fuel saving mode a little bit and try to save a few more in case there was that second one. Because I mean, you know how it is here; it can happen very quickly. So just wanted to be prepared for that. But it would have been really close for a second one. But I think I would have been very good on a first one for the first one.
Okay, and that's kind of being echoed by the field, just a handful of takers down on pit road. I think most of those cars coming down to get some sort of damage repaired. And, we see now quite a few cars continuing the race with damage and kind of holding on to the draft, surprisingly. And, I mean, I'm sure if that car was still drivable, Brandon, you'd be trying to get back out there.
It would have been drivable to the first hit when I kind of spun around and nosed it in the wall. It was good, but then I got a second hit on the door and the front end a little bit. That's the one that killed it. But yeah, it's part of it. I've had my fair share of bad luck here at Daytona, as you know. I've had some good luck, but most of the time that comes at Talladega in these races, it seems.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that. Either it seems like victory lane for the one car or walking out of the infield care center, right?
Yep. I mean, checkers are records. That's the way we race.
Yeah, that's definitely the case here. And Brandon, pretty good night. I want to say at Charlotte. I'm trying to think back, with it being a different night for me, it threw me all through a loop. Actually, yeah, you ended up, it looks like a 13th there. So pretty solid race there. Then, tonight, tough break here. Next week we head to, I believe, Chicagoland. How do you feel about that place?
I feel pretty good. I mean, if it weren't for Jim, my teammate Jim, I would have possibly won that race in the playoffs, and that would have helped me advance to the next round in that cutoff race. So we finished second there last time. Yeah, I mean, you know me. I love the high wear tire tracks where we can really start moving around, seeing where the car's gonna work. I love trying to get to the outside and just keeping the momentum up. So Chicagoland should be fun next week, and yeah, kind of bummed that I'm not here to see this one to the end, but that's Daytona, and we get in them plate races.
Yeah, that it is. The X factor, as I've been talking about all night long. You never know if you're going to be the one coming out on top or the one drawing the short straw. But Brandon, I tell you what, 14-lap shootout, still a long ways away with how big these laps are. But 14 laps. What do you think the game plan is from here?
If you're anybody outside the top 5, I'm trying to position myself in the top 5, and then I really want to be in the outside lane here until a few to go. Then if you can get to the lead, obviously you're going to be wanting to be blocking both lanes as best you can. But you start doing that, that's when it gets dangerous. So it's going to get exciting here. It's always exciting when we bunch up the field right before about 10 to go, and especially at a track like this when, like, I imagine most guys that are in the back that were up front earlier, I mean, they're going to be taking every run they can to try to get back to the front.
Yeah, they can. And some of those guys, part of the teammates, or at least, the partners with it, all kind of run right around each other. Jim Ott looks like he got his car mostly repaired. Eric Colley as well as Jeff Pogo, they restart outside the top 20, but you're saying, hey, there's always a chance, right?
Yep, they're all next to each other, and I was also looking at Johnny Barkford. I'm noticing that he has a little bit of front end damage still on his car, so I don't know how that'll affect him. I know he was up front earlier. Scott Simley, I mean, like all these guys are gonna be looking to move, but there's one other guy I'm looking at too, and it's a guy that's won most of the races this season, and it's Josh Parker. Doesn't matter what track he's at, he's up front. So let's see what these guys can do here as they come back to green.
Yeah, that they do. iRacing pace car will head down pit road, and once again, it's Todd Perot leading the way with Steve Ritter. And here we go, Perot. Once again, a good start on that inside lane. And yeah, Brandon, I mean, we all thought coming into tonight, finally, an X Factor race. Josh Parker won't be in contention, but man, once again, he is right there in striking distance.
Yeah, that at this point shouldn't come as a surprise to any of us with the way Josh has done all this season, and if you've seen him in previous years, he's a very good race car driver and just a very smart and patient one, and that's a lot of what this name is in this game right here.
Yeah, that it is. I mean, you can't go out there and win a race on lap run. You know, you always hear that saying, but man, Parker can really put them together. I mean, historic start to a season with the 802 iRacing League. What he is doing as Steve Ritter will get cleared down low. Top Perot, a power move to the top side. Wow.
Yeah,
that was a move.
If I'm these guys, I don't think I want to dive to the bottom as much as they want to. If I would like to control the outside lane. Yeah. I think that's where you want to be. I think diving down, I mean, as you see, Steve just did it. He had the lead, and then he lost it almost immediately. So
yeah, I think if you could run the outside. Yeah, I think if that outside lane has the right cars and the right momentum, especially 2 laps to go, and especially on the white flag, that's, I think, like you said, Brandon, where you want to be. The question is, who's the friends kind of helping you? And right now, they're trying to get it rolling as more cars jump up top, but they're starting to lose a little bit of track position. I mean, if you're Chris Proger, you got to jump to the top once you see him start coming, right?
Yeah, exactly. I might even take it just to get him, try to get him to start pulling up towards me. You know, you get that car up in front, that'll help. Who I think that's Hinton. Hinton, yep. Yeah, Hinton leading the outside line. It'll really help him suck up to him and then pull him up. Basically, it's almost like a magnet. Like you get that attraction, and it's just gonna suck him right up to Progar, and that's gonna give him more momentum. So, yeah. Obviously, we didn't see that happen, but.
Yeah, and interesting here, I thought for sure, you know, especially deeper in the field, we would see drivers all the time making 3 wide moves. Looks like only really 1 or 2 cars doing that. Scott Simley and Scott Drost here currently up in lane number 3. But you mentioned it before, Brandon. It is tight for 3 wide racing here, especially as the second lane's kind of fanned on out and, you know, running middle to top side, let's say.
Yeah, and I know my accident happened in turn 3, but coming off turn 4, it's even worse. The car gets so light through there, and coming 3 wide, it's risky. So it's a risk that if you can make it happen, it's gonna benefit you really good. But with great customs, obviously great repercussions at times.
Yeah, exactly. It's the good old chess match of super speedway racing, right? The high risk, high reward, but also it can bite you in a big way as well, as we see. Man, Jeff Pogo, big move to the top.
I was just going to say, Jim and Jeff are on the way up to the front. Jeff tried to get a run to the outside. Jim could not get up behind him, so it's got kind of, we got one getting knocked down, but looks like they're going to keep it going.
I think that was a 77 machine of Casey Gross going to pass through the grass here and hang on to it. Wow.
Yeah, now here comes Pogo. Pogo's got his run.
Yeah, Jeff Pogo, like we said, started outside of the top 20 on that restart. Now well inside the top 10, trying to get to the top 5, and these guys pushing like it's go time. And I say it is 10 to go. Now going to be 9 at the stripe.
Yep, exactly. And I'm wondering which one, like you said earlier, who's the guy that's going to pull up in front of Jeff? Who's the guy that's going to be like, I want to take this run with him, and it's coming. And Anthony's going to be a little too late here.
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's one
car... No, he's going to do it. No, he didn't. He didn't. He got back down after. Woo!
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say... Oh, heads up. We can't see through there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there it is there. Kind of got blocked by the old grandstands for a second, but we could definitely see something brewing. And now the third big one of the night here. And I tell you what, now going to set up an even shorter shootout to the end of this one. So that one may have started right around the Jeff Pogo machine. So let's try and rewind it maybe a little bit more of what than we just saw, let's say. And Brandon, I think we got to go back even further. I want to hear your thoughts on this one as well.
Sorry, bro. I was clearing some black flags for guys that had a...
no worries, man.
Yeah, it starts way back. I mean,
Yeah.
The thing that really gets him checked up is Anthony. Anthony really wanted to come up to the outside, and he never felt he was clear enough, and that kind of backs up that outside lane, and then
I think it starts with Loveridge getting in the back of Ott.
yeah,
That sends
yep,
Ott into Mike Wolf, and then when Ott comes back, then down across the track, that's where then the big one is triggered.
yep.
Oh, and it just tags Mike Wolf to spin that 20 machine around. I don't think, as long as he keeps it up there, I don't think he'll have too much damage. But yeah, John Crosby just sliding on by. Crosby third in points. He will just squeak on through. Wow.
Yeah. Jim, or obviously Jim didn't make it through there, but Jeff Pogo, he kept going through there. But just like you said, bro, it's 10 to go.
Yeah, that it is. And, with this getting late, just like that, hey, I'll give you a bump. This time I won't lift. And with that, if you're not perfectly square on the car in front of you, right, it will shoot them a certain way. And with how close everyone's running, right, you get even moved down a tenth of a car length. You could clip the car to your inside or outside like that, and then it's the pin's pulled, right?
It's on, and it seemed like, so when Jim got up into the outside wall, I don't know if his steering broke, but like it just kept coming down the track, and that's what got him back into the 81, and that's what kind of kept it going. Because I think if Jim has steering there, I think he can drive through that, and I think everybody might actually survive through that. But that's just part of it when you're going 190 through the tri-level and you hit the wall, the steering broke, and I think that's kind of what happened there, and that's what it is. But
as well as, all these things happen in full speed. It's split-second decisions. Even, yank it off the wall, you yank it off, and all of a sudden, you're 3 car lengths down the track because the wall glue with iRacing as well.
It's ridiculous how much it sticks, and then once you let go, it's like almost like you've been shot out of a cannon. It feels like it just comes right down. So, yeah, a multitude of factors there, and just again, it all comes back to trying to get to the front here and control this race in the last 10 laps.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I got to give a lot of credit to this certain yellow car out here. Mason Hall in this 14 machine, he has been inside the top 10, I want to say the last 30 or so laps. And this 14 machine, he's putting together a great race. I mean, he's one of, if not the biggest mover. He's up 28 spots from where he started here tonight.
Yeah, Mason, great run. I mean, I was in the back with him a little bit earlier, and he was making moves, and he was kind of one of the ones that I wanted to follow up because he seemed earlier in the race like he wanted to make the moves to get to the front, and it's just more. I'm not like you're not trying to race people hard, but you're trying to position yourself better for what your strategy is, and so he seemed to kind of be on the same page, and yeah, it's working out for him good. I mean, sitting in the top 10. Going to come probably less than 5 to go here, coming to the green, and he's still in this. He could easily win this race. We don't know how it's going to go here, but
yeah, all it takes, especially inside the top 10, right, Brandon? All it takes is one right move. You get the right push, you pick the right lane, and you could be seeing no cars in front of you in a hurry.
Yeah, exactly, and see who the dance. So it looks like Steve's the lead, control car. He's going to take the outside. He's going to have Cal Tony pushing him. Josh Parker is going to have Chris Progar pushing him here on this restart. And that's kind of, I wonder if that's what factors into Steve's decision there, or if it's just like, I don't know if Cal Tony and Parker are teammates. I know they have raced together before, so maybe that's just trying to break them up so they're not with each other. But Steve does have his teammate in a row behind him. Johnny, even with that damage, sitting there in 6th. So Steve does have help up there, and I'm going to actually check in the Discord real quick here.
Yeah, I was actually doing the same as well to take a look here. And I wonder, what if it's teammates trying to work together and maybe leave Cal Tony out to dry? Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. It could be a lot of strategies in this, but it's going to get exciting here. Like, we're going to come to the green with 5 to go, and anybody up here is in contention for this.
Yeah, and I think with 5 to go, like we saw there, no one's lifting for a push at this point. It's all gloves off, and it's bare knuckles brawl until the end of this one.
Yeah, and what I'm looking at, if this only Cal and Tony and Parker could be teammates, I'm not 100% sure on that, but out of the top 10, for sure, I only know that Steve Ritter and Johnny Barker are teammates. So we got 2 Wolfpack, and then we got a lot of lone wolves up here, and It's usually a lot different when you're a lone wolf. You're going to be making your own moves and doing whatever you can for yourself. So this could get it. It's nice to have partners, but sometimes it's nice to go lone wolf and do what you got to do. And this is going to get exciting here.
Yeah, and I think as well as lone wolves, some hungry wolves as well. I think more than half of the top 10 has not won an 802 iRacing race, so they're looking for that checkered flag as well. As here we go, man, they are on top of each other
on each
the
other's
front
door.
row. Oh, here we go. Oh man, how the whoo, that was almost bad, but we go green flag racing here. We'll see how this shakes on out with now 5 laps to go. So with that, I don't think that worked out for Steve Ritter because he has now fallen on back behind Chris Proger. So Proger could have an opportunity to slot in front of Ritter once they start making a run. Man, I don't think that start was what that 61 needed.
No, that outside line is not moving right now. They're almost 3 wide. Pogo is looking underneath that 12 car. There goes Proger up to the top.
Yep, there's the move from the 11 to pull up in front of the 61.
Yeah, that was woo-hoo. And you see Simley up there. He's working it way back about 6 rows deep. He's trying to get that outside going. Proger back to the bottom now. I'm not sure if that's the move. Like I said, I think you really want to control the outside. And there goes Steve right by him. Now, Cal and Tony, if he dives under, Steve will have his teammate. Johnny's going to stay committed this whole time. So.
Yeah, that he is. As like you said, Simley's still one of the few cars with Scott Drost trying to make that third lane work. That has slowed down that kind of pack. So this outside lane with only 3 cars close to one another, they might lose some momentum if they're not careful. So Ritter actually going to try and maybe take both lanes with his teammate as Ritter back down to the bottom side. That leaves Barker by himself up top, and look at that.
That is not good for Johnny. I don't think that's good for Johnny. He has that nose damage. I think that's really going to slow down that outside lane.
Yeah, that is
going to... Yeah, it is not moving, and they're conceding positions very bad right now. Johnny cannot hold pace.
Yeah, he can't lead a lane with that nose damage there, bleeding. I mean, they almost checked up so much, they wrecked further on back behind him. So we see Pogo jump back down to the bottom side. And yeah, it looks like now it's going to be, hey, who makes the move to jump to the top side for the inside, let's say the top 5 or so, as it looks like lap traffic going to stay down here on the apron.
Big bumps on the back stretch. I tell you what, I'm watching these guys slamming each other. It's all going to be who makes the move first, and there's going to become a point where there's going to be some bad blocks here. And I mean, I'm looking at the nose damage. Mason Hall's nose is caved in.
Here we go. Tyler Humphrey hard into the inside wall. We stay green as Tristan Penna, though, will collect one, and we go wrecking.
We're going to get a green-white checker here now, Brett. That ended up bigger after. I'm sure that all kind of tied into each other. There might have been some checking up for the 7 car that went spinning to the bottom. But
yeah, I probably for sure started with that off at turn number 4, then 3 wide racing gone wrong. As once again, man, Pogo gets out there by the skin of his teeth. As here we go, we see the other Hinton, Brandon Hinton, going to make some hard contact here in this one. Tristan Penna, Todd Perot going to get collected as well. So it looks like, all things considered, not a huge wreck, let's say, late in this one. So we're still going to have quite a few cars getting ready for our first overtime restart of the evening.
Yeah, so I'm looking back at how this wreck got caused, Brett, and it's kind of looking like kind of a 3-wide battle. 7 cars on the inside and the 57s in the middle. Johnny Barker's on the outside. It looks like he's trying to follow John Crosby, and he kind of comes down on the 57. But as that's happening, the 57's already getting into the right rear of the 7, sends him up into Johnny Barker, then shoots Tyler back down to the inside wall, as we saw. And then from there, everybody kind of checks up behind. There's a big ricochet in the middle, and then it just goes from there. Like all the names you mentioned, just nowhere to go. It's just that checkup, and not everybody can react at the same exact time.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And man, this is Brandon. This is exactly why I was asking about the fuel situation, because if there's one green, white, checkered, and people know that there's multiple others, I mean, they know, hey, we can make some moves on this first one. We could have another restart in our back pocket if needed as well.
Yeah, I do feel like maybe that the amount of cautions we've had, then obviously getting the cautions that will lead up to more green, white, checker, well, the second one, I think that'd be enough for everybody. Like that was possibly on my strategy to make it, but I will say tire wear is a factor here too. When we did pit, my tires were down on the left side a lot more than the right side. They were down to about 89, 88, and then the right side they were still around 95. So there could be some handling effect in here if we keep going. I mean, I know we've also had a lot of caution laps, so you don't wear your tires there, but just another factor to go into the thinking of that, just because we've seen it. You're gonna see these guys slamming each other, trying to nudge that guy up in front more, and just less grip even already as it is with the tires, and then getting slammed from behind. That doesn't help either. So it's it was exciting right there. It's gonna get just as exciting because these guys know what happened in a couple laps here. We're gonna see that checker flag fall.
Yeah, that it is. We're going to crown a winner no matter what happens here at some point here tonight. And kind of another X factor, Brandon. You mentioned some of the big bumps and big hits on this last kind of run. Man, there's quite a few cars now with nose damage. The first car being Josh Parker. His nose caved on in. Mason Hall having some nose damage. Jeff Pogo as well. So now with all those cars, it's like, man, we saw what happened to Johnny Barker. I don't think those guys can really lead a lane if it's more than, the front straightaway off of turn 4 or something.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have to take that run at the very last second, and because we saw it was basically like an anchor. Johnny could not get that line to get him going, and he was fine when he had Steve in front of him, but it's amazing how much that nose damage will slow the car down and slow the whole line down. It doesn't matter if you had more cars pushing behind. They're not going to make that car in the front go faster. So what you got to do is at that time, you got to shuffle him out, and if he gets in line a little bit, but
yeah, and if I'm Steve Ritter, I'm seeing that nose damage. Hopefully on the 61, I would probably pick the inside lane here, but it looks like Ritter already shading high. He will choose to line up with Parker, and that puts Mason Hall as the third car in the outside lane with the nose damage as well. So another kind of, it should be interesting to see how this one shakes on out, because we saw the kind of contact last time between the front row. I wonder if we see it again as well.
Yeah, I'm curious how they will do with the two damaged noses trying to help Steve, but it's going to get interesting here.
Yeah, that it is. And some cars that were taking some chances, like we saw Scott Simley, Scott Drost. Well, those two now right outside of the top 10, so they are now pretty close to within striking distance to make something happen. The bummer for them, they don't have too many cars, let's say, behind them to build some momentum, but I think at this point it's all about taking a run if you get one.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be looking for the checkups. It'll happen where the field starts that accordion effect. They start checking up, and then you just want to take that run right to the outside if you can. Or, as some people might do, they might try to take it in the middle and 3 wide. So we will see if this is our final restart. I don't have much confidence. I think we're going to get one more, but it's going to be exciting here as we get ready to go green.
Yeah, that it is. And Brandon, just to double check, it is now, is it 2 or 3 overtime restarts that we have an option for this season?
Just 2. So this will be the first, and then we have one more availability of a green white checkered.
Awesome, appreciate that. And just for the viewers at home to give you an indication, so once we take the green flag, if we take the white, we are racing back to the checkered. But under the first green flag lap, if we get a caution, we'll go into the second overtime of the night. So here we go, Brandon. We got one lap to see if that happens as the iRacing pace car heads down pit road. Steve Ritter, Anthony Calatoni will lead him into the restart zone.
It looks like Steve has a much better restart this time.
Yeah, that he did, able to get clear. The question is, does Ritter jump down? Does he stay up top? At the moment, he will stay up top. A little bit of gap to Mason Hall behind, but that's all right as long as he gets there by the back straightaway, it seems like. So here we go, that accordion, like you're saying, Brandon. Everyone's starting to check on up, get to the bumper of one another. Field starting to fishtail down the back straightaway. So far, so good. As here we go, Simley, the first to go 3.
And they're surging on the bottom right now, but like you said, to get that third line going, it's going to start checking up that middle line. So That's going to take a lot of energy, and that's going to help the bottom line. I mean, as you can see, Johnny Barker is actually ahead of his teammate now. He's gotten ahead of Steve, so I think that could be part of like the two guys that Steve has pushing him here. Bro, oh, and here we go.
We take the white flag.
We're gonna race it. We're gonna race it out here.
We are racing it out as they are wrecking off of the tribal. Frank Zingen, Loveridge involved there in that one, but it looks like we will stay green. Anthony Calatoni, Chris Progar looking for his first one. And how about this? Nicholas Sakic, I think first ever start. He's in third. What do you do here on the final lap?
I think you're gonna take every run, and here comes Johnny Barker.
Yeah, Barker will move on up. Oh, Progar's going to shade on up as well. Calatoni on the bottom side. Who will get the better push? Here we come to the finish off of 4.
Oh, Calatoni in the wall. Oh, not Calatoni, excuse me. Progar in the wall.
It's going to be a photo finish.
They're door banging.
It's Calatoni. By .001, Anthony Calatoni will pick up the win here tonight over Nick. And how about this? Mason Hall will finish up on the podium in third. We got to watch that one back, Brandon, and see what happened because, man, they wrecked big.
What a finish.
Man, I tell you what, that was an exciting one to end things on off, but I think we first got to take a look here, see what happened around the 11 machine off of turn number 4 here, because like we saw, the pushes were coming, the runs were upon them, and at that point through 3 and 4, I don't think anyone's lifting.
Yeah, it looks like Johnny Barker was trying to make the move, and Progar wanted to block that to keep that momentum, and just
yeah, Barker shades up towards the fence. Progar watching his mirror, just didn't cover it off quick enough, able to get in the right rear quarter panel. Then that sends the 11 on across, and then it looks like Josh Parker into the right rear of the 20 machine, and that's where the big calamity then happens in front of everyone else as everyone's full board just going to the start finish line. And wow, look at that. That's how Mason Hall finishes third, pass through the grass as everyone calamity at the start finish line.
Even Progar digging through the grass too. I think he finished 4th there. Let's see, as he crossed the line, I think it was P4. He's backwards. 9th, he come across the line, it looks like. So
wow, what a finish here.
What a race.
Yeah, no kidding. As we take a look here at Calatoni, already doing some burnouts. We may have missed all his burnouts there as we were watching back at that great finish, but man, Anthony Calatoni picking up I think his first win here so far this season. But yeah, Brandon, any final words before we get ready for the Riptide Radio post-race show?
No, just a very thrilling race. Great job to everybody out there. And congrats to Anthony. We'll talk to him, but defending champ picks up his first win of this season, so congrats to him.
Yeah, congrats to Anthony there. And yeah, don't go anywhere, folks. Our Riptide Radio post-race show after a quick commercial break. We'll talk to our top 3, get our final thoughts of the race, and we'll be back in one quick moment. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here with the Riptide Radio post-race show. Our first driver we'll be talking to is our third place finisher, that being the 14 machine of Mason Hall. Mason, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet and Brandon in the booth here.
Yes, sir, I got you.
Alrighty, man. We're rewatching this final lap here. It looks like you took the white flag about 10th. Tell us a little bit about that final lap first and foremost for you, man.
Yeah, I mean, I knew off the restart, the top line was just not going super well for me. I was dropping back and then kind of just had to drop in line with the bottom line. And then coming to that last lap, I just had a big run coming from right behind all those guys and then saw them start wrecking. And I was just like, I'm just going to send it through the grass and try and get as many positions as I could. So kind of sent it down to the bottom and then passed a couple guys and ended up finishing third. So it was really cool.
Yeah, that it was. I mean, a great move by you to almost kind of predict where the wreck was coming from and, man, shoot it perfectly where they're wrecking the entire straightaway and you're able to shoot the grass, the old pass through the grass and end up in third. That's awesome to see.
Yes, sir. It was really a lot of fun this race.
Yeah, it seemed like it overall, man. What'd you think of your race? Because, man, it seemed like you quickly kind of made your way after the pit cycles into the top 10, and you really didn't leave there all night long from there on out.
Yeah, I mean, when I kind of screwed up qualifying and I was starting the back, and then once that first pit cycle came, I just went in for gas, didn't take any tires, and I thought I could kind of string it out and fuel the rest of the way. I knew we'd have a couple cautions here and there, so I kind of just try to stay up front after that and stayed within the top 10 and kept myself alive, didn't get involved in anything, so that was great and it just went well.
Yeah, that it did. Your first ever podium here with the 802 iRacing League coming tonight at Daytona. And what were your kind of expectations coming into tonight, Mason? And of course, an X Factor track, let's say, but how do you feel when it comes to super speedway racing?
Yeah, to be honest, coming into it, was not expecting much. I thought, I'd probably get involved in a wreck or something. I've had some bad luck this season and just been involved in a lot of wrecks. So I wasn't really expecting much. But I know I'm a little bit stronger on super speedways. In the truck race, when we ran Talladega, I finished pretty well. So I knew that I know how to get around these super speedways well. So I was pretty confident though.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's awesome to hear. And speaking about some bad luck as well, man, that sponsorship on that machine, I don't think that company's paying you any money anymore for being on the car.
Yeah, well, I mean, a little unlucky, but yeah.
Yeah, overall, man. And I gotta ask, did you know you had some front end damage coming into that green-white checker there?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too, because not only you but also Parker in front of you. I think that's kind of why your lane didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I had a little bit, and I think I got it when like the whole field kind of checked up in front of us right before the end there. But I just knew that I was just gonna roll with it, and if anything, it was just gonna go how was it gonna go. So.
That it did, and it went pretty well for you, able to walk away with a P number 3. Next week, we head to Chicagoland on Sunday nights. How do you feel about that place, Mason?
Yeah, I mean, I've only ran Chicagoland in the trucks, but I'm pretty confident that, I'll be able to get this next gen car around there pretty well, and hopefully, get maybe another podium, maybe maybe a first win. So.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see. And Mason, I always like to get a little backstory when it comes to sim racers and whatnot. So either what got you into racing or what got you into sim racing as well, and how long have you been doing it?
I've always been into racing. I was kind of raised with it, and I've always been a race fan. And then I think right around the pandemic is when I really got into sim racing, and I've really been doing it ever since. So 6 years I've been doing serious sim racing, and it's been great for me. Probably I love it so much.
Man, that's awesome to hear. And one final question: when it comes to the sim stuff, I always like to know what kind of drivers have for wheels, pedals. What are they looking at? So Mason, what do you got these days for your equipment around you?
Oh, I'm just running the basic Logitech G 923 with the H pattern in the pedals. So it's been with me this whole time.
Awesome stuff. And like I go to show and tell people, you don't need those crazy $10,000 sim rigs to go out there and
No,
have fun or race well, right?
not at all. I mean, I've been racing well with this little junky setup I have right now, but I'm grateful for it and it's treated me well.
Yeah, that it is treated you well to P number 3 here tonight at Daytona. So Mason, before we let you go and celebrate the podium, we're going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank on this 14 machine, whether sponsors, teammates, or maybe anyone you want to give a shout out to on the broadcast as well.
I mean, I want to thank, my family. Happy Father's Day. I want to thank my father. He usually supports me with all the sim racing stuff. He's actually watching it right now on the big screen. My brother. So I appreciate those guys. And then I don't have any sponsors, but if anybody wants to sponsor the 14 car that isn't a defunct brand anymore, I'd be looking for you guys.
Alrighty, well, awesome stuff, Mason. Someone signed this kid here to a good sponsorship, and you, my man, once again, congrats on the P number 3 here tonight, and we look forward to seeing you at Chicagoland. Thanks again for being part of the racing action here tonight on Sunday.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. That was our P number 3 finisher. What do we say we head and chat to our runner-up finisher, that being the 12 machine? And hopefully we get to learn how to pronounce his last name. Nick, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet and Brandon here in the booth.
Yes, I do. Hey, guys.
Man, first and foremost, how you feeling after tonight? I believe your first ever 802 iRacing start, and to walk away with a runner-up finish, man, that's a good time.
Yeah, it is definitely a little shaky still. I didn't know what was going to come out of that wreck, but ended well for me.
Yeah, it was definitely an exciting battle to the. I mean, obviously after the wreck, but even after that, you and Cal and Tony break free there, and it's a drag race there. And what are you thinking in the moment? Like, what are you door banging them? Like, are you just trying to be like, I just gotta keep my momentum and just try to get this however I can?
Well, I saw him go to the apron, so I was going to hold down to the double yellows far down as I could to keep him down there.
Yeah.
Then he came up and hit me, so I mean, there wasn't much I could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, and I tell you what, you put together a pretty good race, charged your way up towards the front there, and that kind of green-white checkered, what was going through your mind knowing, hey, there's only a limited amount of time here, the leader picked the outside lane, but I don't know if you saw, but quite a few cars in that outside lane to your outside had some sort of nose damage.
Yeah, I did notice that. My spotter was telling me I had some too, but I didn't think I had to worry. Coming to that green white checkered was a little nervous just based on the last restart, how the outside had such a huge huge run. So I was nervous about that. I was going to try to get up as high as I could, but then working with, I think that was Josh Parker, working with him
Yeah.
and pushing them all to the front. And then I saw he went high. So I was like, hey, I'm just going to take the inside and push Anthony and see what happens.
Yeah, Parker was one of the ones that had big damage along with the 14, so that's kind of why that outside line didn't really go that second restart there. But I noticed your car had a little bit of damage, but it wasn't anything like what they had. So I was pretty confident like that you'd be able to keep going. But yeah, it was a great restart, and like Brett said, you battled up there and you had a chance to win it there at the end.
Yeah, that you did, Nick. And, going through the thought process, into 3, you see Johnny Barker go to your outside. In the middle of 3 and 4, the car in front of you, Chris Proger, goes up top. I think at that point, you're kind of committed to Calatoni and try and shoot out a line at the last moment.
Yeah, that was definitely the thought. And then after that wreck happened, I was just full throttle and see what comes out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure keeping a close eye on that relative, right, for how close of a finish that was. Oh, to just come up inches short, let's say.
Yeah, definitely bummed I couldn't take one home, but glad I got something out of my first race.
Yeah, exactly, man. And being your first race, I know I butchered your last name. So, Nick, if you wouldn't mind schooling me, how do you pronounce your last name?
It's Sasak.
Sasak. All right, perfect. We hopefully will get it from here on out. But yeah, man, what a great run for you here at a super speedway. Are super speedways a track you look forward to, or is it kind of like, hey, you know what? We took advantage of the opportunity here tonight.
Oh, I love super speedways. Always do good at them. So.
Alrighty, yeah, you definitely proved that here tonight. Oh, so close to picking up and going 1 for 1 here, and hopefully we see you next Sunday. Is that the plan? First question, then second question. If you do, Chicagoland Speedway, how do you feel about that place?
Do not feel good whatsoever.
Not a fan of that place. So if on iRacing, besides a super speedway, which it sounds like you kind of prefer, what your kind of next go to? Is it like the 1.5 miles, the 2 miles, or is it the short track side of things?
I'd say 1.5 miles in short tracks.
Okay.
I kind of like everything. I don't really hate anything.
Yep. All right. Now since you said that, the big question is, how do you feel about road course racing in these next gen cars?
I also love that.
Awesome.
P3 in a league last week running Monza with no chicanes.
Wow, that's pretty awesome to hear. And yeah, I tell you what, that's a true definition of a race car driver, Nick, is being able to go to a road course and really put the skills on the limit for each and every lap, let's say. So
yeah.
Yeah, man, awesome stuff here tonight. I gotta always, especially first time chatting with you, get a little bit of backstory as well as, a little bit of information. So first question, what either got you into racing or what got you into sim racing, and how long have you been doing that?
I've been doing it for coming up to a year and a week. My cousin's been doing it for quite a while, and just seeing him do it, testing out his sim for over the years, I've seen it and it's just caught my attention and wanted to try it out myself.
Awesome stuff. So yeah, still on kind of at least iRacing standards, a year in, you're still on the newer side. So glad to see the success you're having here, and that makes a pretty exciting future for you, let's say, all things considered. And Nick, then with that kind of being new, what do you got for kind of wheels, pedals? What are you looking at? All that good stuff these days as well.
I've got the Moza R5 with the pedals that came with it, so they're not load cells or anything fancy like that.
Yeah, but I tell you what, that Moza ecosystem, man, I've heard a lot of good things about that, and it seems pretty popular, especially with this 802 iRacing League.
Yeah, very popular. I love them.
Yeah, it's definitely one of, if not the best value for your buck when it comes to direct drive racing. But yeah, Nick, thanks for coming on out here tonight, being part of the racing show. And man, thanks again for a fantastic finish there at the end. You had everyone pumped on up here on the broadcast. And speaking about the broadcast, before we let you go, man, and celebrate this runner-up finish for your first start, we're going to hand the mic over to you one final time and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you'd like to give a shout out on the broadcast here tonight.
Yeah, first shout out to Penolutions. Thanks for the sponsor. Number 2, my grandparents. Thanks for always watching and supporting. And last but not least, Kyle Robertson. Thanks for always being there for me when I have questions or needs and always supporting me along my way.
Alrighty, well, awesome stuff, Nick. Once again, congrats on a great finish for your first ever start. And I tell you what, man, we look forward to seeing you out on track. So you have yourself a great rest of the night, and we'll see you next Sunday at Chicagoland.
Thank you, Brett.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. That was Nicholas. Man, already. I'll go rewatch how to say his last name. We'll go practice it a few times in the week to come. But what do we say we head down to Victory Lane and talk to the man of the hour, the man doing the burnouts on the front straightaway? It is our winner, the 84 machine of Anthony Calatoni. Anthony, do you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Long time no see, Brett.
Yeah, that it is. The monkey's off your back for season number 7, man. You're down in Victory Lane and at a super speedway. I don't think you were expecting that, right?
No, yes. You never know. I was telling my dad earlier today when I was with him, about where we were. I said, well, I don't know what's going to happen. So Daytona, no one knows.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. This race, definitely a big X factor. But Anthony, you're the one to kind of conquer it. But man, you had a little bit of tribulations to get there. I wish Brandon was still in the broadcast booth because you almost had your night ended about just after the halfway point. How sketchy was that?
Yeah, twice. Yeah, I couldn't believe I made it out of it. It was just pure luck, really. With whatever happened with Jim, I just kept it matted and was hoping that I was clearing it. And then what was the other thing? There was something like right to the left of me that there was some trouble, and it just missed me, I think. But yeah, something wasn't my time for tonight, I guess, to get caught up in something.
Yeah, that it wasn't, because here tonight you get down to Victory Lane, and man, I gotta ask you, jumping now a little bit around once again, heading to that final restart. Steve Ritter picks the outside lane, and I don't know if you saw, but the other two cars behind him in the outside lane had nose damage. I don't know if that gave you some confidence, or what was your thought going into that first kind of overtime restart there?
So I was actually messing with Steve a little bit when he did that. I was like, no, wrong lane. And then who actually, no one knew how it was going to actually work out. It just did. And as we were kind of pacing coming to the restart there, I looked at Parker's nose and I'm like, he's got a big dent in the middle of it. I'm like, I don't think he knows that. So I didn't say anything because, I'm not gonna ruin my chances even if I had a chance at that point of the race. But no, it worked out. Chris, I gotta thank Chris. Chris did a lot of pushing there for me. So he did really good at that. He just threw a late block there, and it just killed his momentum.
Yeah, that it did. And I think Denny Hamlin said it on his podcast. He says, you don't stop your competition when they're making mistakes. And that's, I think, what you did a little bit there. But yeah, then Anthony walked me through that final lap because, like you said, Chris Progar giving you some great pushes. And then through down the backstretch, you probably saw a little bit of the run coming. And then 3 and 4, you saw more and more cars go to the top side and out from behind you.
Yeah, I saw him make that quick move there going into 3, but I didn't think they were close enough to me. And Chris was still pushing. And then once I saw everything kind of happen off of 4 and on that short shoot, I thought when I saw Chris shoot back down across everyone, he hit, I believe it was Nick in the 12, and I thought it was going to turn Nick. That's why you saw me go so low on the track and then to come back up. And I didn't mean to door him, but I kind of like lost where he was and was just hoping that he was still behind me. But it actually ended up helping Nick a little bit because it gave him a little boost there. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that boost made it, I think, one, if not the closest 802 iRacing finish. I mean, .001. Could you tell you won the race there, or were you looking at that relative screen waiting for it to update?
I didn't even think it was that close, to be honest with you. I thought he was far enough, like a half car length or a car length or at the bumper. I didn't even know he was that close. I didn't even look at it. Wow. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the broadcast. I didn't even watch me coming to the line. I just watched the wreck. But that's cool. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, that is. Like I said, I believe the closest finish in 802 iRacing history. And, on the broadcast with the finish cam, I want to say you may be won by a splitter off the nose of your car, if not maybe half a splitter.
We'll say I won by a dog print because Rebuilding Warriors is on the car.
Hey, there you go. That's a good way to put in. Yeah, Anthony, had to miss a few races because of scheduling conflicts and all that stuff at the beginning of the season. Have been marching up the point standings now. Big win here tonight. That's going to help. First win of season number 7. And kind of cool, career win number 8. That now ties you with Chad Coleman overall, and I think puts you right around the 7th or so winningest driver here in 802. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, tying Chad's a fierce competitor, so anytime I can tie something against Chad, that's pretty cool. I race with Chad over at Sim 500, and he's just as fierce over there than he is here. But I think I'll be sticking around a little bit more, see if we can get a little further up that win column there.
Yeah, because there's a lot of good names at 9 wins in the kind of overall, through the entire league. Let's say it's Brandon Guerin, Damian Ward, John Ross, Jeff Pogo, and Mike Kelly all sits at 9 wins across all their starts so far.
We're definitely going to work towards it. But unfortunately, now obviously I had to miss a couple of things because of trips and everything. But yeah, it was a little rough going there. I came back from my trips and it was like I didn't know what to do. I'm losing. I'm spinning out. I think I junked myself and Rob at Texas. I junked myself at a national race coming back. It was the preseason on Thursday. It was hard knocking the rust back off. I didn't know what was going on, but seems like we're getting back on track here.
Yeah, I was going to ask a little bit about that too. Like you said, it seemed like someone put a curse on the 84. I mean, we've kind of seen it, especially here in the 802 iRacing League. Whatever it is, once someone becomes a champion, their next season, they got to battle all sorts of adversities. And that kind of rang true a little bit for the start of the season. Luckily here tonight, that kind of turns it on around. So what does this win do for, your mentality, as well as now heading back into some good tracks, Chicagoland next week, all that kind of good stuff as well?
Just puts the mindset that it can happen, and it would happen. Just to get your mind back focused on what's in front of you, and don't look behind you. What happens happens. It's in the past. Don't worry about it. Look forward, and just you gotta stay out of the mess sometimes. But we're gonna pump forward, and we're gonna try and click a couple more off. Like you said, we got some good tracks here coming up where I ran good last year. Hopefully I can just keep going at it.
Yeah, I hope so as well. And yeah, here tonight, picking up the win here at Daytona. Next week, Chicagoland. I know that's a pretty good track for you. How you feeling about it, though, coming to next Sunday with now a win under your belt?
Just got to manage the tires. And just keep the car under you, or under me, or at least. I don't remember how the last Chicago race went. Oh no, I remember. I got nosed into the wall. That's how that ended. So hopefully we don't do that again, or that happens again, and we just stay up front, get the clean air, keep the clean air, and just try and bring this 84 Chevy home in Victory Lane again.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a great game plan, Anthony, for next week. But here tonight, able to walk away with the checkered flag, pick up yet another career win. And yeah, man, I tell you what, real quick before we let you get into the final stuff, any changes from last year in the sim setup for maybe newer people watching for this season? What do you got these days, Anthony, for wheel pedals? What are you looking at? All that good stuff.
No, nothing changed from last season. Still got my Thrustmaster TR300, I think, and I'm on a 49-inch curved monitor, and I think these are the TLC Pro Thrustmaster pedals. So funny you're asking about setup stuff, because I threw the idea in my head. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get a new wheel. And I was looking at all Fanatec stuff, and because I wanted, I guess something a little bit more not responsive, but a little bit more direct.
Yep.
Instead of like a console wheel. But I think I'm just gonna. We're doing pretty good with this stuff here, so I think we're just gonna stick with this for now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, don't change it while it's going well. And right now, that's doing the same as defending champion. And now the winner here tonight, Anthony. You're putting together some good stuff here, and I think the win column, shows that as well. So, Anthony, before we let you go and celebrate win number 1 of season number 7, of course, career win number 8, we're going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to on the broadcast here from Victory Lane.
Well, I couldn't do this without the partnership from John Boy Media and Talking Giants. Now that the car got in Victory Lane, we're going to see how tomorrow goes in Sim 500. Maybe we'll have to make a scheme swap again. But been real honored to have Rebuilding Warriors on the hood for the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, I think it was. I finally was able to get them in Victory Lane. I can't wait to see what the winner's picture is going to be like for them. I definitely felt their service dog with me tonight. So let's all if we can all just think about the family, the CEO and president of Rebuilding Warriors. So I'll have to dedicate this win to them. Like to say happy Father's Day to my father watching, and WBD diecast. There's too many B's and D's in there. But and all the sponsors over here at 802, you Brett for the broadcast, and we're gonna try and do it again next week.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome plan, Anthony. And yeah, man, once again, congrats on the big win here tonight. That was awesome to see. Glad you're a part of the show. And I tell you what, we also enjoy racing around you on Thursday nights. Hopefully, we can be racing around you a little bit more often, as hopefully I get a little bit better, let's say, on the beginning part of a race.
Don't put yourself down, Brett. You got a high iRating. I saw your iRating. I was like, oh, look at I think you're 4,400 or something. And I'm like, oh, look at him. I said, I'm gonna have to watch out for this guy.
Yeah, that was in a past life. These next gen cars, I have very little seat time, and I've even watched you, and I've done it. I would think more than half my races. Man, these things step out on you on the wrong time, and it catches you off guard. It's definitely got me, so definitely going to need to take some more seat time here. But yeah, I tell you what, it's a blast racing around all you guys.
Thank you. But you'll get it. These things, once you figure these things out, you can you're really ripping them. But you just gotta watch, like you said, you gotta watch the step out, and the steering pinion is very quick in these when you spin. So you just gotta remember that.
Yeah, that it is. Luckily, I haven't overcorrected one into the wall now that I said that. Next Thursday, everyone better watch out, I guess. But yeah, once again, Anthony, we'll let you get rock and roll, and we won't hold you too much longer. But yeah, I just gotta thank you for taking your time, be a part of the show, and chat with me, man. A well-deserved win, and I tell you what, hopefully, I'm sure there's more to come this season.
Let's hope. We're gonna try. So.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. Well, Anthony, you have yourself a great rest tonight. Go party it on up for the win here tonight, and we'll join you in the after party once we get done here and wrap things up on the broadcast.
All right, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. Anthony Calatoni getting the win by a paw length in total. Man, that is awesome to see, and a big win for that crew, like Anthony said. with the with all that has gone on with that whole car. So we can all hope that they're all doing better, hopefully healing with that. But when it comes to the broadcast side of things, let's go and run through tonight's race results here from Daytona and get things wrapped on up as Anthony Calatoni picks up career win number 8. Nicholas Sasek, in the 12 machine first ever start will finish up on the podium, and Mason Hall, first ever podium for him, career best finish, will finish in 3rd. Scott Simley, the driver that was always trying to go to the top, he will finish in 4th. And the guy that followed him, Scott Drost, I believe his first ever top 5 coming here tonight at Daytona. Gary Wright in the 55 machine will finish 6th. Josh Parker will continue his points lead with a 7th place finish. John Crosby will bring it home 8th. Crosby now probably will be 2nd in points trying to chase down Josh Parker. Johnny Barker, top 10 finish for the 6th car, will finish in 9th. And Casey Gross, how about this? Gross will get a top 10 finish, I believe. First top 10 for Casey Gross as well. Michael Wolf will finish in 11th. Jeff Pogo, 12th. Steve Ritter in 13th. Tyler Humphrey, 14th. Tristan Penna will be in 15th. Anthony Garland, 16th. Noah Loveridge, 17th. And Jason Harrison, after going laps down early in this one, he will finish a respectable 18th. Grant Humphrey will bring it home 19th. Dylan Hinton rounding out the top 20. Chris Progar will finish 21st. Frank Zingen, 22nd. Arabia Caton in 23rd. Evan Fuquay, 24th. Todd Perot, 25th. Eric Holly will finish in 26th. 27th is Chris Muse. Brandon Hinton in 28th. Jim Ott, 29th. Nick Barton in 30th, Connor Patton 31st, 32nd, Joe Hudson, Devin McCaffrey 33rd, Kevin Roy in 34th, Brandon Guerin will finish in 35th, 36th going to Dan Holcroft, Alan Harris 37th, Nate Brooker in 38th, Kip Easley will finish 39th, and Rob Lowell did not make the start with all his issues, and he will finish in 30th. So that will do it here tonight from Daytona. An action-packed race. Thanks again for everyone tuning on in, whether live or replay. We appreciate each and everyone. We also appreciate all the drivers. A full 40-car field here tonight at Daytona. And I tell you what, one of the best Daytona races I have called here on the sim. So we got to thank the competitors for that here, as well as with the competitors, we got to thank some league sponsors and some league admins. We got to thank the league admins for all the hard work that they have been doing behind the scene, as well as the partners with the league, that being BG Graphix, Riptide Radio, GStone Motorsports, Admin Boxx, Stone, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, as well as Rock Pirates RC for coming on board as well. So yeah, it was a great one here tonight, folks. Be sure to tune in next Sunday night as these drivers get ready to take on Chicagoland for race number 7. So everyone take care, stay safe, have a great rest of your week. Also, Turn 3 got to shout out their partnership with Premier Setup Shops. You can find out more with the link in the description. That'll take you over there. Even if you don't buy anything, a click would go a long way. So that would do it here tonight from Daytona. And I tell you what, a great one at that. So thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you in 1 week's time at Chicagoland. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.